Now, Matt, I'm going to ask you a fan question, and they would think you probably have the answers. You're the expert. So, to be held accountable, you got to be available. So they ask me this all the time. What's up with Michael Thomas? He can't be hurt that much. So do you have an explanation? Is it just bad luck, or is it that serious? Well, what's the deal with Michael Thomas? Because I always say this, like players sometimes, it's a contract year, they perform unbelievable. Then they get paid maybe to shut it down. No, Michael Thomas got rewarded with an unbelievable contract, and he became NFL Offensive Player of the Year. Then it seems like he was snake bit after that. Is it just bad luck or what?
Well, without really diving into particular injuries or people, I will say this on Mike. Works his tail off. The guy's worked hard in his rehab. He does extra work. He's constantly working on the things that he needs to work on to get better and to return. And so I think there's a lot of things that go into different injuries and different situations. And it's probably frustrating for fans when you don't have all the information and you don't see all of the factors that are involved, that sometimes it becomes, the frustration can become something that boils up because of the lack of that information. That, our guys work hard, our staff works hard, everyone, I think, is doing everything they possibly can to limit the risk of injury, minimize the severity of an injury if it's going to happen, get them back as fast as possible, that's healthy and appropriate for return to play, and then to stay on the field and be healthy throughout it. There's some really good people involved in this and players that, boy, I'll tell you what, I've really enjoyed coming here and seeing the buy-in from the players and the excitement from the players to train, to do things that we're asking them to do or not do things that we're asking them not to do. I've been very impressed with that, and I think that's something that often gets overlooked or not addressed enough with the fan base. That these guys are working hard. They want to be healthy. They want to perform at their best. They want to win. That's why they do it, and I really appreciate their efforts in that regard.
Now, Matt, when you look at in the future, obviously the future is now, but also looking into the future, like number one concern, not just for the Saints or the National Football League, and when you look at soft tissue injuries or even, I still think, concussions. I mean, football is a violent sport. So you can have rules, you can legislate only so much. But I don't know how you truly, you don't want to protect the players. But I don't know if you can actually avoid a player maybe from getting a concussion. But what do you think, like if you're looking at crystal ball, the future and the number one concern, is it still concussions? Or is it like something, it's not minor, but like a hamstring injury? Can we get that better, or hip flexor and all that? What is your take as far as how the game will progress, let's say, the next decade beyond?
It is a contact sport. It's a fast collision sport. That's why I love it. That's why our players love it. That's why our fans love it. So along with that comes some of that risk. But when it comes to concussions, with the long-term effects of it and health of the player, you have to sacrifice some of the things of the game in order to protect the players. And I think the rules, some of those things have been very positive. I don't think it's taken a lot away from the game. I like that kind of a trend where we're maybe policing certain things to reduce those risks. I'd like to see a lot, even more investment into protective equipment, not just for concussions, but we've dealt with rib injuries. It's protective equipment across the board is something that I think is high on the list. Shoes, footwear. We've gone through foot and toe stuff, and there's a lot that goes beyond just the helmets. While those are important, we really need to look at everything.
And Matt, I'm glad you brought up the rib injuries. I was the first college player to wear a flak jacket.
Now you're dating yourself there.
1979. No, the reason why I'm bringing it up, I was in Natchitoches at Northwestern State, and remember Dan Pastorini with the old Houston Oilers? Well, it was made by Donzi.
Yeah.
It was made by Donzi. It looked like it had a barrel around me. All of a sudden, I cracked my ribs. I said, I tell you what, preventive medicine, I'm going to learn to throw with this flag jacket. You go like this story, Matt. All of a sudden, my grandma hadn't seen her in a while. She shows up at the game. She tells my daddy. She goes, boy, Bobby got fat, huh? Look at him. And then my dad's telling him, no, he has this rib protector. It was like a barrel. But I tell you what, once you get that shot in the ribs and you're trying to hang in there tough in the pocket, that's why I'm glad you brought that up, because look how aggressive Taysom Hill runs, and just when you're standing in the pocket. That I think with technology, that's one area you still can be an aggressive runner, but have almost like preventive medicine from getting that protection. I don't know if Donzi's even still in the business, but I know, boy, thank God they had that flak jacket, because I know when they had leather helmets, they didn't have that.
Leather helmets?
Well, if you look at just the size of the shoulder pads and size of the leg pad, we're going to minimal types of equipment. We just need to get good protective benefits out of it. But when you talk about soft tissue work, that's probably where we spend the most of our time and efforts, because you're looking at modifiable risk factors and trying to identify potential warning signs in each player and what might signal that they're at greater risk for some of those things. And if anything, those are probably the ones where we can have the most effect. But I'll tell you what, I've seen it done very, very well. I've seen great data on the player. And then it's just this sport is so aggressive that, you can do it perfectly and something still happens. But our job is to make sure that we're exhausting every resource and every data point and every intervention that we possibly can to try to limit this or to minimize the severity of something, or to help them get back as fast as possible. That's probably where I'm investing more and more of my efforts, because the protective equipment's out of my control, the playing surface is out of my control, the shoes are out of our control. So the muscle injuries are usually the ones that I watch the most, and if I see a trend, then we know we need to make some team adjustments. If I see individual occurrences or repeated occurrences in the same player, then we know we need to address some individual factors. But the real goal is to get ahead of it, not be reactive when something happens. And the great thing and the bad thing about this industry is that it's never good enough. It's never going to be perfect, and it's just like playing. Focus on what we're doing every day to physically prepare these guys and do the very best we can, and then let them go play ball.